This is Indent by Unfiltered Audio, a simple-to-use, straightforward distortion unit capable of all sorts of creative distortion sounds that you probably wouldn't be able to achieve with more traditional plugins. Indent essentially has two independent processors, one for the input stage and one for the output stage. Both of these have various different algorithms you can mix and match so that you can get everything from subtle saturation to wild distortion. It also has a resonant filter and really innovative modulation system. We can hear Indent producing everything from subtle clipping to extreme distortion and also modulated effects. Let's start with a simple 808 drum loop. As soon as we start dialing in gain on either the input or output stage, we're going to hear distortion and saturation introduced. I've got the mix at 100%, so let's start to increase the input now and see what we get. We're currently using soft clip mode on that input stage, so we're getting some really nice harmonics added and we're getting some great saturation, but we're also getting an increase in actual level as well as perceived level. Now this is to be expected of course, but we can counteract this by using the trim control. This allows us to lower the level of the output of Indent without decreasing the amount of processing that's taking place internally. This will give us a similar level to the dry signal, but with the processing taking place. So let's take a listen to this now at 100% mix and then sweep down towards 0%. We can now add more gain to the input and achieve a more intense effect while still keeping the same relative level in our mix. Now this sounds great and it's obviously a very subtle effect, but if we want to make things a little bit more intense, we can try some of the other algorithms. Let's go with hard clippers on both the input and output stages, and I'll now increase some output gain as well as the input gain. Now you can see that I reduced the trim amount even more to compensate for this pretty intense effect. We can now also reduce the mix control to create a parallel processing effect. If you want to produce even more creative effects, try some of the other algorithms. We'll take a look at Wavefold here on the output stage, and now we're going to start using the resonant filter as well. So I'll increase the resonance, and then we'll sweep the cutoff down with the mix a little higher. Now of course we were just treating a drum loop, but it can be used in multiple instances to treat drum kits. Here we've got 4 separate tweaked presets, treating a kick, a snare, closed and open hi-hats. So first of all, let's take a listen to the drum mix dry. That sounds pretty good, but it could do with some attitude. So now let's try increasing the mixes of each of these instances of Indent. I'm going to turn these top 2 to 100% and these lower ones to around 30. This extra attitude transforms the kit and gives it a real techno edge. Some of the patches that we've looked at so far have used Indent's modulation system, but we haven't really explored it fully yet, so let's do that now. So here we've got a clean wah-wah guitar recording. I've added some soft clipping to it to give it some attitude, but I want to really accentuate that wah-wah, and I'm going to do that by using the Cutoff and Resonance in the filter section. So first of all, you need to open the modulation window down here, and you're going to see 2 default modulators. They're both sine wave LFOs to start with, and they're both not routed to any destination. I'm going to change the mode of this first modulator, and you do that by clicking on this drop-down menu, and I'm going to select Input Follower. Now all I need to do is drag the output of the modulator to the cutoff frequency input. You can see that a new output appears. This is dynamically allocated, so you can keep routing this modulator to other destinations. I'm now going to turn the cutoff frequency down and turn the resonance up. You'll see any modulation occurring right here within the cutoff frequency parameter itself. Let's play this back. Let's turn the mix down. We've made the sound much tougher and much more upfront, but obviously this is a very simple routing. Let's take a look at another auto wah patch that I created earlier that's got a much more complex routing structure. You can see here that I've got 4 modulators hooked up, and some of them are actually modulating each other. Here I've got LFOs controlling the mix, the cutoff, and also an LFO controlling both the output and the trim to create a virtual tremolo effect. Let's take a listen. When working with multiple modulation routings like this, you may want to remove one of them at some point. To do that, you just grab the thicker part of the cable and throw it away to remove that connection. You can see that by adding a few modulation routings to a simple patch, you can make it much more interesting and add some real flavour. As we've seen, even simple modulation routings will give you great results, but with some experimentation, all sorts of creative patches are possible here. And remember, this is exactly the same modulation engine that you're going to see in Indent's bigger brother, Dent, and we'll be taking a look at this plugin in future videos. Indent's simple parameter set adds up to an incredibly powerful tool that allows you to quickly dial in the perfect tone, and with its modulation system, you can take things even further. Remember, you can go straight to the Plugin Alliance website and grab your 14-day fully functional trial and follow along with anything that I've done here. I'm sure you'll enjoy exploring Indent as much as I have, and I'll see you next time.